the life I want to live through every day. I don't want to waste my time playing foolish, childish games, 'cause I know a secret you all should know. Better go and swallow life before it swallows you whole. Gazing down on Earth's crazy Mandela, kicking and screaming for dear life. Maybe there's an archangel rocking our cradle, and maybe there's just nothing but the night. Yeah, maybe there's just nothing but the night. Guess I'm a fledgling Buddhist, drinking beer, whiskey, and wine, and a deer hunting Hindu, eating burgers all the time. But somewhere down inside of my soul, Jesus hollers my name.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing out there? My name is Benoir. This is Johnny Mystic. And tonight is our premiere show of Mystic Noir, where we're going to talk about music. We're going to play tracks from our albums. We're going to have on special guests. And we like to say this is where music meets spirituality as well. Johnny and I both have had long careers and traveled the world and done a lot of different things. We'd like to also thank our new sponsors. Just shout them out real quick. The Cabana, Bob Johnson. They have live music all the time and a great big parking lot with big tables and umbrellas that are socially distanced. And they have great artists there. Leah Totzer from Daniel Gale Sotheby's Realty. Studio Noir, Arts in the Plaza. The Cafe, where Johnny and I both perform every Saturday night at 780 West Beach Street at the corner of New York Avenue. Shout out to Candy and everybody over there. Rockin' Robbins, where the guitar doctor works on guitars and sells instruments. And Rocky and Robin, they've been very supportive of my Studio Noir music school and the community in general. So if you're looking for a ukulele, a guitar, a sitar, they even have a sitar in there. They got percussion. You can get your strings changed. You just drop it off. Rocky is a very good, quick guy. Angel Flower Creations, which is Yvonne Santana, one of our artists from Arts in the Plaza. And shout out to her. She's on board as a sponsor as well. And also a local North Merrick Karma Beauty Studio, where I'm going to get my hair done tomorrow. You know, like that's why I got the hat on tonight. But tomorrow I'm going to get my hair done. And what's better than Karma for a show about, you know, music and spirituality? So you were listening to a track by Johnny Mystic. We've been working on his album. It's called The Astral Tourist. That song was called One Time Around. I don't know how long the track played, but the song is a beautiful song, and we will listen to the whole thing again. You know, again, my name is Benoir. My legal name is Benjamin Metzger. I'm a Long Island guy. I grew up in Long Island. I was in Sachem High School in Suffolk County. Johnny here grew up, in Hempstead, was it?
Roosevelt.
In Roosevelt.
Yeah.
And, you know, Johnny's been, part of the music scene and playing music and writing music for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us, Johnny, about yourself.
A long time. I'd say that, you know, where you first might have seen me would be back around 1980 at CBGB's and that whole circuit of music that I was involved in then with a band called Zanoni or Zanoni, a kind of new wave band that I fronted and wrote the music for. And we were around for quite a while, several years. And then, of course, as many bands get into the situation, we broke up just at a critical time when we were under contract. So it kind of left a bad feeling for me. I went out solo and, it wasn't quite the same after that. But I've been at the music really all of my adult life. And at the same time, because of my background in school, I made my living as a psychic reader doing tarot cards, numerology, particularly on Manhattan Cable back in the 80s and 90s. I had a show called The Mystic Man. And that really helped me to gain insight into, what it means to be alive. And I got a lot of good material for my songs from doing readings and speaking with people over the years. And this particular album, The Astral Tourist, is as though you were stepping back from Earth and you could get a bird's eye view and look down on Earth and see all the activity occurring and trying to scramble it up and make some sense of it. And that's what the songs are trying to do. The theme is really about love. And that was the vision that I had when I stepped back from Earth and looked at it. Ben has done a great job at producing it, which has been a huge effort because of the COVID. We we couldn't work for quite a while, but yet we're almost done with it now, I'd say, right, Ben?
Yeah, it's been a tremendous, awesome, fun project. It started 2 years ago.
Yeah.
A little history about Johnny and I's relationship. We actually met in Long Beach. I saw he was kind of a new guy in town. He's kind of hard to miss. He's this very, very tall figure, he's always wearing hats and leather pants. And, he looks like he's straight out of 1960 something. And he is.
I am.
And so anyway, he's walking around the West End and I'm like, who is this character? Finally. So then Superstorm Sandy hits. And behind us right now is Bob Shanley, Robert Shanley's 11561. This picture we used on the cover of the Long Beach Benoir and the Long Beach All Stars album. So shout out to Bob Shanley, big part of the community. It's also how I met Steve Vaccaro, who's the producer of the Chapters rap with Steve Vaccaro. There we are at Guys and Dolls. There we did fundraisers with Halftime Howie, and we did Long Live Long Beach. That was a song I wrote. And we went out to Mulcahy's, and we went out to Guys and Dolls and a whole bunch of clubs, including the Laurel Diner, where I found myself one day after the storm coming to town, and there was Johnny sitting in a booth, like right across from me, like right there. And then we just kind of looked up. I was like, hey, you a musician? And he said yes. And so we got to talk. And
I had the song. Remember,
yeah,
I had written the song for Sandy, and he says, "Oh, let me hear the song." We went right to the studio and
it's
recorded
called
it.
"Bruised Not Broken," like the sign that was on Shines.
Yeah.
And when he told me about it, I was like, "Come on to my studio." So we go to the West End. We go to Studio Noir, and there's no power. There's no lights, but I'm in there. Thank God, my studio was safe from the storm. It just made it. The water line went right up to the stairs. And Johnny played, I still have the video on my other iPad. He played his new song, Bruised Not Broken. And
very raw, man.
Incredible song. And that's how we met. We met in the Laurel Diner. This is like a Long Beach story, right? We met in the Laurel Diner. Years later, we did a benefit for Debbie, the waitress at the time, who hurt her neck in a car accident. And he played, and Howie was there. I met Jesse Klersfeld that night. I played with Victor Peretz and a whole bunch of our friends. It was, so I met Steve Vaccaro through Halftime Howie. We were doing these fundraisers. We were raising money for the community to help the community because my home was not destroyed. Because my wife and I, we also rented an apartment on Vermont Street, and we were okay there too. I had the extra energy and time to help people, so we gathered a lot of others, and we did concerts, and it was really a very meaningful time. Shout out to all those people on the T-shirt there. There they are: Steel Horse, Milestone, DJ Shelf, all those people. So anyway, Johnny and I developed our relationship. I was hosting open mics, the Hub, this and that.
Open mics. That's
a lot of open mics, bringing together people, and we became friends. I got to know his style of songwriting and singing. And through the years, we've collaborated in different things. We did a Doors band called 5 to 1. With John Botten, with John Condon, and with Tony Bright at first on the bass, but then over to Jesse McKevitt. Yeah. And I played keyboard in that band. It was a lot of fun. We did that 5 to 1 Doors tribute band for a while. Yeah. And then
we had the first 2 albums down.
And then you did the Electric Limeade, right?
Yeah, then I did the Electric Limeade with Jesse McKevitt. And that broke up. And
that was a psychedelic kind of soundtrack. And then eventually My Raw, a good friend of ours, songwriter, shout out to her. I think she's out there listening. She came in with some songs they had collaborated with 2 years ago, maybe even, I don't know if it'll be 2 or 3 years by the time we get to the fall, but the album Astral Tourist, we're gonna go to that song one time, Once in a Lifetime. We're gonna play that in
One Time Around.
One time around.
Yes.
We're gonna play that song in an entirety right now and have a little listening session. The album was recorded at Studio Noir. I play a lot of string parts on it. I learned how to play violin, viola, and cello, and I layered a lot of stuff. I'm not sure what's on this particular track. It's hard for me to remember. We also added French horn from one of our students, Chandler Rosenzweig. No, we're going to go to the One Time Around, the same track from the opening.
Track. Yeah.
And basically, it's a wonderful album, 13 tracks. We're getting to the end. Franz Nardone is studying at Berklee College of Music. He's a young guy, and he's studying how to do sound engineering. So he's mixing the album. It was recorded at Studio Noir. And let's go to that song. Yeah, let's play it. Get to some of the music listening part of this, right?
Well, I've got a lust for life I want to live through every day. I don't want to waste my time playing foolish, childish games. 'Cause I know a secret you all should know. Better go and swallow life before it swallows you whole. Gazing down on Earth's crazy Mandela, kicking and screaming for dear life. Maybe there's an archangel rocking our cradle, and maybe there's just nothing but the night. Yeah, maybe there's just nothing but the night. Guess I'm a fledgling Buddhist, drinking beer, whiskey, and wine, and a deer hunting Hindu, eating burgers all the time. But somewhere down inside of my soul, Jesus hollers my name. I keep eating my bagels and lox, but I still don't know which mask of God to choose. Yeah, I still don't know which mask of God to choose. If one time around is all we get, baby, make one time be enough. If one time around is all we get, baby, make one time way enough. Make one time way enough. Gazing down on Earth's crazy Mandela, kicking and screaming for dear life. Maybe there's an archangel rocking our cradle, and maybe there's just nothing but the night. Yeah, maybe there's just nothing but the night. I rode, chopped down motorcycle, surf sunsets, snarly waves, been a fortune teller and a taxi driving slave. But I keep on rocking out all the music in my brain. I guess I'll keep on kicking till the big guy calls my name. If one time around is all we get, my baby, make one time be enough. If one time around is all we get, my baby, make one time way enough. If one time around is all we get, my baby, make one time way enough. Make one time way enough. Gazing down on Earth's crazy Mandela, for dear life. Maybe there's an archangel rocking our cradle, and maybe there's just nothing but the night. Yeah, maybe there's just nothing but the night.
All right, we're back.
So yeah, we hope you guys like that one. You could hear a lot of great things. Was that tuning? That special tuning?
It's a special tuning. It's called Nashville Tuning. It's used obviously down in country music a lot, and it's strings could be tuned to a higher octave. So you take the 6-string guitar and you tune it up an octave. It sounds like a 12-string or a mandolin. And I've been using it for certain songs, such as that one, because to me it adds an otherworldly kind of quality. I think the Rolling Stones actually use it on Wild Horses. That's what I was told. And other people have used it. But it's interesting. It adds a haunting kind of sound that seems to work well with certain songs that I like to come up with.
So this song one time around, like
it's imminence.
Like in general, the whole album is in general is about life. It's about
this is it.
The soul, our journey, learning, all that stuff. Helping each other and.
Well, I studied radical theology and philosophy in university, and for a while I thought I was going to go in that direction, but I'm too much of a, player. I like to play the music, and that took over. But some of the things I learned was about this concept of, being here now, imminence, and music to me is about as immediate as you could get with living, because you're right on that note, you're right in that beat, and when you're listening or playing it, it takes over everything. It's totally consuming. And in a world of chaos or a world of uncertainties, or where our mind is constantly distracted by having to survive, as Jim Morrison once said, music is your only friend. Wouldn't you agree with that? Ben, being a music teacher, Ben teaches every instrument. And to all sorts of people, from the smallest little children to adults. And they all have different needs with it, but I think ultimately it's a human desire to express yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like it's such a pleasure, and you really get into that zone when you're playing or listening to music, or if you're dancing to music. I've been blessed with my family. It was very supportive, very artistic, and my mom especially. She paid for lessons. Like I was able to take, my first instrument was actually the baritone horn. It's a small, like tuba-like instrument. And I did that in 4th grade and moved to the saxophone. I got really into jazz. I had a great teacher who recommended me to go to Stony Brook University. They had this International Art of Jazz Educators program. And I was the youngest person there. Arnie Lawrence was there. He was one of the founders of the New School. And he introduced me to Thelonious Monk's Straight No Chaser and The Flight of the Bumblebee mixed together. And then it was basically a jazz blues. They brought us out to a club in Patchogue. I got to play, and that was it. I caught the bug. I caught the musical bug of improvisation, jazz. I was probably 13, 12, something like that. I also got to play in my bar mitzvah, and that was a big hit. I did The Heat Is On, and the band director was like, everybody get up. And like, it was just like this moment of arrival in a way, because I had just switched to saxophone not too long before. And Eddie Murphy is one of my, greatest. I love that guy, The Heat Is On. Come on, Beverly Hills Cop. So anyway, I love music, jazz, rock. I got into heavy metal. I formed a band. I had this band, Sachem High School had this great music program. So shout out to all those teachers and all the staff that made that happen. They had an after-school rock program, Ray Sabatello. We had Pete Lucchesi, Joe Cavalier. You had, Mr. Legue. You had Mr. Pettit. I mean, all these guys were amazing at what they did, whether it was wind ensemble or chorus or music theory. And so it was so rich. And by the time I got out of there, you were talking about music being in the moment and getting that satisfaction. I was also a visual artist from the time I was very little, and I was taking portfolio development courses in 9th, 10th grade, and I couldn't, I was up until 8th grade. I thought I would be a visual artist. I was drawing, and I was awarded in 8th grade like an award for my artwork, Artist of the Year, out of whatever it was, 1,200, 2,000 people. And the next year I couldn't take art. It was either music or art. So my art skills kind of fell by the wayside. And then like that whole thing of like, how do you make money? Do you make money by painting and drawing? Do you do it creatively? Graphic design, in the 80s, yes. It was like, everything's going towards the computer and Photoshop and this and that, like, am I going to sell a painting for $1 million to pay rent? Yeah. And then I was playing saxophone and I was playing guitar and I was getting that instant gratification. Just being there, art takes a lot of time. You have to draw and work on it and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. There's a separation from the product, from what you're doing. You have to, you know what I mean? It's not direct like it is.
It takes time.
Yeah,
and
when
you have
playing,
to be committed.
You're plugged
and
right
then you
into
have to
the
take
world.
the art and sell it. I mean, that's been a part of the hardest thing for me to do with music. It's like you can write the song, you can record the song, but then what do you do with it? How do you market it? It's been a lifelong learning process with that. So anyway, in high school, I had some bands and Legacy and then the Us Production, and they were really fun bands. They went from heavy metal and Metallica and originals to doing like a Chicago fusion sound with a female singer and 2 trombones. And it was just amazing. One of the guys in the band, Rob DiPietro, went on to study at NYU, and, he scores film and TV commercials, and, his stuff is getting out there. He's a great drummer, great multi-instrumentalist, very good friend of mine. Another guy, Ryan Reitmeyer, went on to play with Boy George's band. He played harmonica in our band. He was like, I was probably there the first time he played harmonica. And he played French horn, funny enough. Now we have French horn on the album. And anyway, it's just, I was surrounded by a lot of very creative people. Shout out to Heath Mencher if he's watching, very great singer, harmonica player. All those guys are amazing. Terry Chase, and all these people are active and doing their things everywhere. All right, we're going to go to my career went all over the place. I went to University of Miami. I studied jazz. I studied, and we're going to play that song, the song for Brendan Carr. I wrote a song a few years ago about one of my students who he took his own life, and really tragic. A very talented young kid. Very, my very good friend Julie, is her son, and he used to come to the studio Noir and play with the bands, Awkward Silence and other bands. And, he got bullied and he couldn't take it. And he was really into a lot of this esoteric stuff, outer space, past lives. He was really into the soul. And I don't know, he just decided that he wanted to leave this world, and he took his own life. And when his mother called me that day, I got off the phone. I was like upset, and I sat down and I wrote this song. So I recorded it at Studio Noir. It was released on the Random LB Records album. It's the last song on that record. Shout out to Natalie and Jimmy. And we're going to listen to a song for Brendan Carr. I hope you enjoy.
You were sweet, you were loving. In your mind there was pain, things were troubling. I knew something weren't right, but life isn't perfect. And I thought that you'd see that we all have a dark side and a bright side, a middle ground. And now you're gone. Just a boy, but you felt like a man. Blessed with good looks, talent, circumstances. Being what they were, you had a roof over your head and the love of your beautiful mother. Brendan, we love you, we'll miss you. You touched us and we will pray for you. Brendan, your story lives on for others to know what goes on in a sometimes dark and painful world. Let us be a light to those who remain. We all get down sometimes. Who's to blame? The Lord has our backs, the reasons unsolved. Please don't take away the greatest gift of all, which is you. Brendan, we love you, we'll miss you. You touched us and we will pray for you. Brendan, your story lives on for others to know what goes on in a sometimes dark and painful
Song.
So, sad song. I hope sad subject. I hope you guys like the song. Johnny and I worked on a song called Only Love for that record.
Yes,
And
we've been
talking a lot. He's been talking a lot about how the songs on his Astral Tourist, which we started 2.5 years ago, the themes really relate to what's going on right now in the world, whether it be division, equal rights,
all of that. I mean, it was almost unconscious. It was a batch of songs I had written at the time, maybe 30 or 40 songs over in this particular period where these songs came out of. And out of that batch, we decided on 13 that are on the album. And
I was like, stop writing songs.
Yeah, we had too
stop
many
bringing
songs.
them in. We'll never get this done.
That was it. And somehow in my unconscious, I did not know that the songs were all linked together as though they were a part of a mosaic. And that became apparent as we started to lay them down. I realized the essential theme to my album is love and imagination and dreams, that this is a dream that we're dreaming, and that theme is reiterated almost in every song, right? We didn't realize it until we actually stepped back from it and said, oh, this is, so the idea is to, try to make the best of it, man, and get along and embrace a higher idea that we are moving towards some higher consciousness. And maybe what's going on in the world right now is just, unfortunately, part of what goes on to make us better human beings, more cooperative. I think that's really what my album is about, is working together and my concerns. I come from a family where my dad worked for the union. He was a very important figure in the IA, which was in television and film. And he was an international representative. And so he was all about the working man. From the time I was this small, it was drummed into my head, not drummed, but I realized how important, the working man is in the world. And my dad taught me, to be, how could I say it, a good listener and listen to both sides. That's what he really did. And I think really as musicians, we're first listeners. We hear the voices, the spirit, you might say, the muse, and somehow we grab it, right? And we get it, and we put it out in a form, through our instrument or our voice or whatever. But really, I think we're kind of like a transmitter. The more I've done this, I've been doing this all my life, over 50 years, probably more than that, 60 years or so. And that's what I think it is. What do you say, Ben?
The term like seminal work, right? It's like when you think of an artist, like whether it's Bruce Springsteen or Santana or, as artists ourselves, it's really challenging to create something that is timeless and that can last and that's meaningful. And I'm so proud of this album. This album, Astral Tourist. It's because it's been a 2.5-year project, because I'm taking time with it. A lot of, in my past, I was really quick to get things out and done and this and that, or not, or I wasn't finishing up with things. What was great about this project is that I was able to utilize all the skills I had been collecting as a producer, as an arranger, as a multi-instrumentalist. When Johnny came to me with these songs, I was able to help him record his songs rather than it be about me and recording my songs. I seem to work very well when it comes to, like helping others. That's my thing. It's really hard for me to produce myself. So like that last song you heard, I produced that myself. And that was a few years ago. I know I could do much better in terms of the production and the playing, probably. We all grow as artists. So at this point in time, this man here has grown. What year were you born? He's been around for
1950.
He's been around for a while. Okay. So he saw the Doors. He, he's seen these artists. He's met them. He's bringing all that knowledge and all that experience, and I'm bringing what I have, and when we combine and we gel and we brought a lot of guest singers on this record. We brought in female voices. We brought in children. Shout out to the Studio Noir, the Iorio family. We had Brady and Olivia come in and sing some great background vocals. We had My Raw. We had Shelby. We had, Charlie. We had Marina. We had Christine Salamino. All these beautiful female voices.
Jeff Allen on the
Jeff Allen played ukulele on a track on something called If I'm Lucky, which is, we're going to play that in a couple of weeks. So that needs a whole show. Maybe we'll have Jeff on the show. We're really excited about this record. It's not on a label. We would be happy to, partner up with someone for distribution. As of now, what I'll be doing is probably just, publishing it through Music Noir, putting it up on TuneCore and getting it out that way. But if anybody else has an idea, a major label or small label, please definitely reach out to us. We are going to listen to Astral Tourist next.
The theme.
That's the title track of the album. It's got a lot of voices. He talks about how he's not alone when he's playing his guitar. Johnny gets to play. He's retired right now, so he gets to play a lot of guitar at home. That's what he does. He writes songs and plays guitar. So we're going to go to the Astral Tourist whenever you're ready, guys. We want to listen to that umu, but you mix that into the ending, right? Yeah. So thank you for doing that. We're back, huh? All right. So we hope you enjoyed that. That was a little bit of the Astral Tourist, the title track on the album, and
we're all astral tourists. We all come from the stars, and we're all on a journey here. And everything that we do is kind of like universal, you know. We go through the same things: falling in love, having to work, maybe having children, you know. So the astral tourist is trying to take a bird's eye point of view, and realizing that you're never really alone in the world. You're plugged in. You're part of the world. It's always a relationship to someone or something. And I had that realization very strongly one afternoon when I picked up the guitar, and I realized that it's you and me, baby. And I realized that was just a great metaphor for, and you know, anything that a person does. You could go out and, you know, not be alone mowing your lawn, you know, because you're in love with your lawnmower or your car, or, you know, playing golf, or
your new bike.
Your new bike, whatever. The whole idea is do something.
Shout out the local.
Know you're alive, right?
I got my new bike for my birthday.
Yes, you did.
So that was the whole thing. You know, it got stolen, and then like some of my closest friends got together and they bought me a new bike, and it's the exact same bike, but even better. You know, the other one had a little click. This one's perfect.
Yeah, he's on that bike. And
I'm up on the boardwalk. I'm riding around. I mean, there's nothing more spiritual than just taking a long bike ride in the hot sun, you know, and just, you know, it's a beautiful thing. I want to also mention Long Beach is just the greatest town ever. I moved there in 2007. And shout out to my wife, Sammy Hoop, and my daughter, Luna Bessa. They were watching earlier. We have so many good friends. I mean, it's just incredible. We love it. Our sponsors are incredible. I don't know if you could actually read any of this. We're going to flash it up at the end. But once again, the Cabana, Bob Johnson, we'd like to thank you so much for supporting Arts in the Plaza, and now this new show. Tonight's our first show. Leah Totzer, she just switched up company. She's working with Daniel Gale Sotheby's Realty. Thank you so much, Leah. Studio Noir is my music school. You can go, you can learn pretty much any instrument. We have affiliate teachers as well if I don't play the instrument. Like Aaron Holland is my brass guy. He does trombone and trumpet. And I pretty much teach all the main instruments. Artsintheplaza.com. You can see all the great artists there. This season we're off because of the COVID. We did put in for a little something, but we don't know what's going on with that. The Cafe, now they have live music. They're having live music tomorrow night with Pick and Bow. They're a great, fantastic violin, guitar duo with Quiz Low as a singer. He guest appears with them as well. And fantastic between 6 and 9, usually on Thursdays. That's the Old Island time, the Cafe. It's beautiful. They have a lot of open air seating, so you can get your social distancing rules in. Great food there. Shout out to Candy, their sponsor as well. Rockin' Robbins, thank you so much. You can get your guitar repaired there. You can drop it off. Rocky's real good. He works on my stuff all the time. They sell instruments. They sell incense and candles and birthday cards and jewelry. So it's a kind of a spiritual place to go. And Robin's sweet. Angel Flower Creations. That's the former Little Pleasures by Yvonne. That's Yvonne Santana. She was watching earlier. Great lady, great woman, always supportive.
And makes really great stuff.
Great jewelry, great gifts. She has new masks, kid masks. So I was going to grab one up for the show. I'll have one for next week to show you guys. But she sets up a lot on Arizona, right outside her house. So it's like a little mini Arts in the Plaza for her. You can go down and check it out. We're looking for more sponsors. Another Arts in the Plaza sponsor, Karma Beauty Studio in North Belmore. Wonderful, wonderful place. And shout out to cousin Nikki and Joey. Happy birthday again. And we appreciate your support through the years. And I'm going tomorrow to get my hair done. So, next show, you'll see a little curly do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I won't be hiding behind this whole thing, which I do love. Okay. So, so basically, we want you as a sponsor. If you're interested, look, it's really easy. Just 917-545-3833. We need more sponsors. We're going to be back again every Wednesday, 8:30. The last song of the show, when we roll the credits with the sponsors, is called Umu. and that's for Umu Sangari. Now, I've always been into world music. I think I was exposed to it, not only from my Jewish background, but also from, when Paul Simon came out with the Graceland album, those African sounds, I was really into that through jazz as well. And, I got into that African sound. I love those guitars and, shout out to Bakiti Kumalo. I don't know if he still lives in Long Island, but he used to play the Long Beach Jazz Festival that Steve Adelson produced. Shout out to him too. And I got to meet Bakiti, who plays the bass thing on You Can Call Me Al. Great bass thing. And he's got great albums. And I just love the world flavor. I like all people. When I had to apply to the University of Miami, they had me write the essay, and the essay was about world peace and the concept of Kavana. Like, what's your intention in the world? I was brought up to love all people, to give people a fair chance, fair shake, to stick up for people. And, that's my spiritual mission there. I've been doing it for a long time, bringing people together. I'm a connector, What's up, Susan, down in Tennessee? So Johnny, just tell me a little bit more about you, and then we're going to play Umu Sangari. Umu Sangari is an African singer. I got into her, West African, into that music. A lot of people don't know, but I had a long career. Before I moved to Long Beach in 2007, I went from Miami to Long Island. I started hanging out in the city. Then I moved to Queens. I lived in Long Island City. I had a fabulous apartment. I used to take the train in and work at the Virgin Records store when they first opened. I was in the jazz section. My friend was in the world music section. And I just learned so much about music. I met so many of my friends. I have so many close friends from selling CDs. I always love music. Great stuff. World fusion, jazz, all those sounds. It just inspired me to keep learning and keep developing my skills. I hooked up with Pharaoh's Daughter, Ensemble Uniqua, Tribe of Djembe. I learned how to play reggae with Tribe of Djembe. I toured the world and the United States with Pharaoh's Daughter. And they were both really incredible bands. Ensemble Uniqua, I learned how to play so many things with them. Eventually, I found myself with Antonio Dangerfield's cousin, Natalie. I played with Natalie Dangerfield, and we did. Eventually, I found myself into a dub music and electronic dance music, and I did this thing called Dub Affair, and I did Noirchestra, and I played all these big venues and headlined Knitting Factory, Joe's Pub. Got to play at Lincoln Center. All sorts of things. So. I just had a lot of fun. I ended up in Long Beach, and I had to kind of redefine myself as a singer-songwriter because they weren't really interested. They wanted Margaritaville and Sweet Caroline, and I'm like giving them jazz fusion from West Africa, and like they weren't ready for it, But eventually, through Woodstock Wednesday, I brought people together and open mics. I started opening up the palettes of people, and even somebody like Johnny, who's not doing covers. You have to get to know him. In this album, I'm telling you, if you like Bob Dylan, you like Led Zeppelin, you like, Harry Chapin, if you like those sounds, Simon and Garfunkel, you're going to love.
Simon and Garfunkel were a very big influence for me very early on. Bob Dylan really was the first big influence because I never heard anything like this before. I was going to Catholic high school, Chaminade in Mineola, and the brothers were very radical in those days, and they turned me on to Bob Dylan. And I thought, wow, a guy with a guitar, you could do this. You could tell a story and make people think about different ideas. And then Simon and Garfunkel with their harmonies, it just grabbed me that this was truly spiritual, that the music itself was what I was studying in terms of, rhetoric, in terms of, ideas. It was the music. The music is the message. Just do the music. Listen to the music. Doesn't matter whether you're in church, you sing in church, you sing in the synagogue. There's the cantor. There's in Buddhism, they do the chanting. It's always been the music. It's always been the music. The music is the direct road to the universe. And that's it, man. And when you're plugging in like that, you feel it. It goes right through you, whether you're up there just dancing or you're up there singing or you're up there playing. It's a volt of electricity, and it's a real thing. It's a real living force. The music is a real force. That's why in Close Encounters, that's the way the aliens were communicating with, and well, of course they would say because it's mathematics, and of course it is that, but you can't use mathematics to explain the feeling you get when you hear a certain sonata or a certain turn of a phrase in music. That is transcendent. That is otherworldly. So music is the road, for me. And those were early influences. They're still around. These guys, I still listen to them. In fact, some of the cover songs I do when I'm out come from that period.
So speaking of when I play every Saturday night at the Cafe. It's the corner of New York Avenue and West Beach Street, 780 West Beach Street. From like 6 to 10, Johnny comes up and he does my first set break. He comes up with S.A. Barron, the guitarist, and sometimes my Raw as well, like last week.
Yeah.
Socially distanced, of course. And all the tables in there's only a few tables, and there's like outdoor seating. It's been really nice vibe. Just enough people to create a nice vibe.
Yeah.
I also broadcast live on Facebook, and the shows have been magical. I think I'm in my 7th or 8th week now, and there's nothing like performing. And I'm all for safety, and I do my best, but to feel alive as a musician, as a performer, I have to do this, and it's really sweet to have a home base in the West End where I live. I also played a jazz gig on Thursday. I've been promoting different artists there. I did a thing with Chandler Rosenzweig, and she did a great job. Also, John Barnas came on his upright bass, and we had a great time Thursday. So Pick and Bow is the regular Thursdays, but once in a while we're going to switch it up and do some jazz nights on Thursdays. They're going to do some Fridays like they did last week, and it's a great place. Bob Johnson Cabana, they have amazing music all the time. Another great socially distanced thing going on. Whether it's Josh Dix or Chris Campion or whoever he has there. He has Tom Sanfilippo, from the Grateful Dead bands like Half Step, and they have great music there. Just check out the Cabana every week. It's great stuff. What else? Just come on back next week. All right. Go to reverbnation.com/Benoir. That's my main website to just find out where I'm playing, what I'm doing. There's a bunch of videos. Johnny Mystic Astral Tourist. It's coming out soon. We're going to leave you with a cut from my Jazzy Funky Noir album, which was recorded by Peter Cooperschmidt at his studio. He did a fine job. There's Chris DeCarmine on the drums. There's Luigi Carollo, Lou Carollo Jr. on the bass, me on guitar. And I always loved Miles Davis and like the way he would go into the studio or Coltrane and they would record an entire album one night. So my concept for that was we went in with the trio, we set up, we recorded the entire Jazzy Funky Noir album in one night. I went back, I think I mixed with him one other time, and we put that album out. It's on Spotify. So if you look up Benoir, Jazzy Funky Noir, it came out in 2015. And this song, Umu, I just love it. It's this West African groovy thing. And we're going to end the show with that. And a shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to The Chapters Rap with Steve Vaccaro. They're broadcasting this. They brought us in and all the crew working on it. And we're going to go to Umu right now. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Sweet dreams.